So here we are, another beautiful nighttime shot of the Caribbean Ocean and St. Thomas. I just missed it, but we've been having some pretty cool electrical storms. It's been really neat. But anyways, yep, another night, another video. Hey everybody, welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. My name is Ron, a grateful recovering alcoholic. And as you saw from the intro, that it is nighttime yet again, and I am making a new video. And the reason I bring that up, and also you can tell I have gotten home from work a little late and still haven't had a chance to take a shower or anything like that, so I'm a little dirty. But it actually ties into my video that I wanted to make pretty good. It's basically kind of like a two-part thing. It's going to be, I want to talk about FOMO, and also how busy is too busy, or are you too busy for recovery? Or are you getting too busy for recovery? And the FOMO thing I want to talk about mainly because it's been kind of creeping into my head a little bit, that since sobering up, and it's also like historically for me, when I start getting into this mindset of you know, I'm missing out on things, it leads to relapse pretty quickly, and I want to avoid that. And I've been, you know, talking to my sponsor about it and stuff. But yeah, since I mean, I've talked about it before, but since sobering up, like, and because of stuff I did while drinking and using, I don't like I don't get invited to things anymore. I don't do things anymore, and I've touched upon it a little bit in the past with you know, people saying, well, we're not sure if we can invite you or we should invite you because, you know, you're sober and we're all going to be drinking. And, you know, and my response to it at that time was, I'm sober. I'm not a monk. I mean, I can do stuff and still have fun. But since I made that video, things certainly have changed. I you know, have gotten invited to stuff to pass, and I'll say no because people are going to be drinking. Like, even for example, like trivia night. Tonight is actually trivia, and I love trivia, and I'm not going because I don't want to be in a bar. But I guess the point is that I start getting stuck in my own head about like not getting invited or not going to things, and which leads me to start going down the path of, well, shit, you know, like, all I have to do is just start drinking again, and I'll start getting invited to stuff again, or I'll go out to bars and play trivia, but then I'll get shit-faced, and then I'll be right back to where I was 7 months ago, and probably worse, actually, which obviously I don't want, and nobody wants. And then the more I think about it, though, like now with a clear head, is that, you know, when I start, you know, when I get, nobody wants me around when I'm fucking drunk anyways, you know, except for the people that I'm like partying with in town at the time. But then after, you know, that tipping point or that switch gets flipped, and then I go from being, you know, a good time to being an absolute fucking monster. And yeah, nobody wants me around then either. So I have to keep it in the forefront that I'm really not missing out on anything. You know, the fear of missing out, the things that I think that I will be engaging in if I start drinking again, or, you know, or even if I don't start drinking again, if I start going to them, there's a very good chance that I'll relapse that way too, because then I'll be putting myself in situations that I definitely shouldn't be in, you know, like going on boats, going on boat trips, or going to, you know, the bar, even just to sit there and hang out with my friends. Like, you know, it's a really good possibility that I'll be sitting there and be like, oh, okay, you know, here I am at the bar again, they're all drinking. I can just have one and join in, and then next thing you know, I'm just a freaking mess again. So yeah, no, I don't, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to those things. And I guess like this isn't really like a cry for help per se. It's just I kind of want to just get it on video because I feel like some of you, or a lot of you, can relate to what I'm saying right now. And the bottom line is that in terms of sobriety, like, don't do it. Like, don't put yourself in a situation where, you know, while you think that you're strong, especially if you're in early sobriety, like where you think that you're strong enough that you can go and put yourself in that situation and not drink. When I was sober back in the States, it was a good year and a half before I went out anywhere that may have been something that, like, you know, triggering to me or surrounding my, you know, like alcohol, like even bowling. Like I remember one time I went out bowling and I specifically told the waitress that was coming to our lane that I was a recovering alcoholic and that I you know, didn't want anything to drink, and please don't keep coming around asking me, you know, if I want a drink or anything like that. And she was good, but I ordered just a ginger ale, and I don't know if my drink got messed up with somebody else's drink, or if she didn't hear me correctly, or the bartender just was making something, you know, going on autopilot, because that happens. But I ended up getting it had like whiskey in it, and I took a sip and immediately spit it back in the cup, and not angrily or anything. I didn't berate anybody. I didn't turn into one of those Karens and start flipping out on the waitress or anything like that. But I was just like, I kind of said, you know, hey, this definitely has, and I had other people like smell it, and it definitely had whiskey in it. And I was like, hey, this has whiskey. And she apologized up and down, and actually ended up, the manager came over and apologized, and we ended up getting our food for free and stuff. And I didn't even ask for that. I was just like, it's okay, mistakes happen. I just, you know, but point is that had I been in early recovery, that could have been something that sent me over the edge. That could have been something that triggered me and was like, you know, hey, freaking, I just had this and it was fine and it feels great, and boom, right back to it. But fortunately, I was a year and a half into it and good enough in my sobriety and everything that it didn't turn into a problem. So at 7 months, I definitely don't want to be putting myself in those situations where mistakes happen and I get an alcoholic beverage, and then next thing you know, I'm off and running again on somebody's carelessness or mistake. So we kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but yeah, I mean, don't put yourself in those situations, and honestly, you're really not missing out on anything. You know, I can just strongly suggest that you don't do it, that you don't go out, that you know, and you know, everybody's always like, oh, life is so boring. It's really not, though. Like, you know, I'd rather miss out on a party or miss out on a get together at a bar or something than wake up in a jail cell. That would suck. You know, bail's expensive. And then, you know, you get all the other fallout from that too. So yeah, I guess that's, don't freaking do that. And also making yourself, like, you know, busying yourself, which gets me to another point. How are you getting too busy for recovery? And with the holidays coming up and everything, I guess the holidays also falls into the Fomo thing. Like, you know, New Year's Eve parties, Christmas parties, things like that. You know, honestly, the best Christmas present you can give to yourself if you're an alcoholic like me is sobriety. And, you know, missing the company Christmas party is okay. Just, you know, there's no harm in explaining it to your bosses or whoever in management that I don't feel comfortable going to this, you know, so sorry. I'm, you know, appreciate you guys doing this for the company, but I will have to respectfully decline. And if they don't understand that, then there's a bigger problem than just, you know, missing a Christmas party. If they can't respect the fact that you need to take care of yourself. And then also, as far as New Year's Eve goes, like freaking, that's amateur hour. You know, freaking everybody who doesn't normally drink throughout the year goes out on New Year's Eve and gets freaking absolutely smashed, and then decides to get behind the wheel or whatever. And you get all these amateurs out that a much bigger danger than the people that drink all the time because they're used to it. So that's another reason why I stay out on New Year's. Even when I was drinking, I generally wouldn't go out on New Year's Eve just because I know that like all the freaking yahoos are going to be out. And anyways, so there's part one of the video, I suppose. And then now getting too busy for recovery. So in recovery, the whole point is to stay sober and get our lives back together and get to do the things that we destroyed or the things that we weren't getting to do because we were intoxicated all the time and just couldn't do them. And then all of a sudden, like, so myself, like I find that now that I am a reliable person and now that I am clear-headed and sober, I have people asking me to do more things, and like and I don't mean like, again, going out to the bars and stuff, but I mean just in general, like, hey, come help me do this, or can I do that? And and then responsibilities at home, and then for me, just for example, on a normal day, like I come home, I want to do the dishes. If there's dishes in the sink, I want to clean up the house. I like to cook, so I cook dinner, and then also gonna fit some fit AA in there. And if it's not AA, it's therapy, or if it's not therapy, it's even just like playing video games with my kid on the phone, because she's 1,800 miles away in Massachusetts. So we play a lot of video games on especially Call of Duty Mobile. It's our favorite, and we're really good at it. But anyways, so a lot of times, like I was stated at the beginning, like I don't get to eat and shower or anything sometimes until 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then the day's over, and you haven't really had time to do anything quote unquote fun, or you haven't had any time to sit and relax, and so people start to pull back on their recovery, pull back on AA meetings, pull back on, they start canceling on therapy or any number of things. The stuff that has gotten us to this point that keeps us sober now all of a sudden becomes a nuisance. And that can be problematic. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that from here until the end of time that I'm going to be going to AA meetings sometime twice a day, or every single night. Like, you can pull back on it a little bit once you start getting as far as what you're comfortable with. But like one person said to me, like, freaking when I was like bitching about, going to an AA meeting, I'm like, oh, it's a freaking hour, blah. They said, well, you had no problem sitting on a bar stool every night for 4 or 5 hours till 1 o'clock in the morning. You can't find an hour out of your day to sit through an AA meeting. And so that much is true. But also, like, when I was sitting on a bar stool for 4 or 5 hours a night, I wasn't getting anything else done. Like, my house was a mess, I was a mess, everything was being neglected. But at the same time, like, I know I have to make the time and set it aside and schedule my time for recovery, because without it, it all falls apart. And fortunately for me, my wife and my kids and pretty much everybody in my life, even my employer, understands that I need to do this to stay healthy. And my employer, when I do like recovery stuff in the morning, allows me to be a little late to work because they know that I have to do this. And my wife, like right now, she's just chilling in the bedroom watching TV because she knows I need to make these videos, not just for you guys, but for myself. Like, these videos are a big part of helping me stay sober because I get to have an outlet. And even though sometimes, like, I ramble into the stream of consciousness kind of thing, I get out what I'm feeling on that particular day, or it's been building up for a week of things that I want to talk about since my last video. So the point is that you should never be too busy for your recovery. You should always 100% put your recovery first, and all the stuff that you have to do that are your responsibilities should squeeze in around it, because everything in your life revolved around your drinking, like, or at least it did for me. I shouldn't say revolved around your. It revolved around my drinking. Everything else was secondary, and if I had to skip a shower so I could drink more, I would skip a shower. If I had to, skip paying a bill just so I could have enough money to drink more, I did that too. So in recovery, it should, if I have to skip a couple of things here or there, just to go to an AA meeting, or to make these videos, or to talk with another alcoholic who reaches out, do that. I mean, point blank, just do that. I mean, an hour or two out of one day a week or a few days a week is not going to kill you. And everything should revolve around you staying sober. I mean, there's certain things, like, if you got to go to freaking court, or a funeral or something like that, like, obviously you can skip a meeting for that. But I mean, just every day, day in, day out bullshit, like, because that's really all it is just bullshit. It's just shit you got to do. Like, it can wait. You can wait for an hour. The dishes aren't going anywhere. That little project that you want to do outside is not going to go anywhere. It'll still be there after an hour. But just always keep your sobriety right at the front. Always keep your recovery right at the front. Make it your priority. Never be too busy for recovery. And I promise you, if you start to put your recovery, or your program second, and start pushing it off because you want to do something else, that is a fast track to relapse. That is a fast track to picking up the bottle again, because you kind of tend, we're human. We have a short attention span, and an even shorter memory, I feel, sometimes. And you forget the message. You forget why you have all these things to do in the first place, right? Because honestly, like, yeah, okay, the first month or two, you're literally just focusing on staying sober and just literally getting your shit together. But once you start getting into it, after 6 months of, let's just say, of the day in and day out, like, doing the same thing over and over again, you start to feel like, it's the same thing day in and day out. But doing that is what keeps the message fresh. And you never know what you're going to hear in that meeting that you want to blow off, or in whatever you do for recovery. You never know what you're going to hear that might be the thing that keeps you sober for the next 24 hours. So again, just really keep it in the priority list. Really keep it like you need to revolve everything around recovery. Just don't get too busy for it, and never ever forget where you came from. That's a huge thing. We sometimes forget where we came from, or we romanticize it And I always hear and have been guilty of talking about it in the regards of the good old days. What the fuck was so good about them? I know since I quit drinking, I haven't had a whole lot to worry about. Anyway, I guess that's all I got. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate the support. Comment, please. Let's chat. Let's chat about what I've just talked about, or let's just chat about anything. You know, it'd be cool to hear from you. All right, guys, that's all I got. Remember, it's one day at a time. Have a great night.